we go. That's a fucking healthy pour. Thank you, sir. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I don't know if we're ready.
Welcome back, you motherfuckers.
Yes, sir.
That's how we start the show.
She's just gonna.
She's all like, where the fuck am I right now? Just tell all your friends to listen after 12 seconds. So real quick, we have a special guest today that we will get into.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some things pertaining to health
Yes.
and wellness and I don't know, all the things that she does.
Probably a good topic now that RFK is going to be taking over some of the FDA duties. I think this is going to become a more integral part of the American health lifestyle.
Yes. So would you like to introduce yourself or would you like us to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Emmy. I'm a Czech practitioner, and I specialize in holistic lifestyle coaching, postural alignment specialist, and root cause practitioner.
Nice.
Okay, so we're going to get into some of that today and have a lot of questions because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But all of our guests and listeners need to know about it because it's a better way of life and a healthier way of life and kind of all around just better for you as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it must be working on your husband because he looks skinny as fuck over there.
Yeah, so what the people don't see is that Joel is in studio with us, sitting silently in the background.
And I've shouted Joel out a bunch. He bought me some that Wellet whiskey and some other things. We've had some of your bottles on this show, bud. So
Joel went boar hunting with us.
Yeah.
When it was pouring rain, and Joel and I were the only ones that got boars. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, Joel said, I'm getting in better shape. I like this. I'm going to start doing this. And Joel, you're 40 pounds down? You can talk about it. It's okay.
More? 60?
100.
You lost 100 pounds? That's a fucking person,
Bro, I just
dude.
saw you.
I don't even think Emmy weighs 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You lost her.
You lost her.
And change.
Good for you, bud. Proud of you.
That's rad.
And so we're going to get into some of that because I'm sure you helped him with that. And if he says that you didn't, he's full of shit. I know he is.
He's a dirty
Because
liar.
he was telling me like, bro, you need to tell her fucking what's up. Let her count your macros and shit or all the things. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, man. But
She's going to explain it to us, though.
We're going to find out today. But so today...
As we talk about health, tell us what we're going to poison ourselves with.
So we agreed that this is Athenium.
Yep.
Okay. Whatever. It looked cool. And so, real quick, a little funny tidbit. So I say, and
JJ loves it.
And no, so JJ opens her laptop to edit the other day, and I never sit there when she edits. She starts laughing. She goes, and I was like, what? And she pushes play, and it says, I was like, fuck off, JJ.
Let's try it.
Yeah, why don't you shamelessly self-promote us real quick?
I will. And if this stuff is terrible,
Sorry.
Joel and Emmy brought some blueberry moonshine, which is tastes like
dangerous.
blueberry syrup from IHOP and is very dangerous. So anyway, YouTube Shattered Wisdom. So we're going to have more of a presence on YouTube. We're going to start putting out more videos. We're actually going to be changing up the studio here. We met with Senior, who's the master carpenter, and he's going to help us rebuild the studio here. Jarrett's there's the soundbite. We're going to redo the studio, so you're going to start seeing more of us on YouTube. Instagram, Shattered Wisdom Podcast. I am Shattered Wisdom _Jack. He is Shattered Wisdom _Jarrett. Emmy, do you have a face in this Instagram?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's called Legacy Soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can check out Emmy there after you hear all the goodness she has to talk to us about. And, of course, shatteredwisdom.com. Go on there. You can see updates. So, Dofo dinner. We were at Barcuso today.
We're going to be at Barcuso tomorrow,
We're going to be at Barcuso tomorrow. We're going to be there with our buddy Eric Pease from Eric Pease Photography doing a little bit of work. A lot of good stuff coming up. A lot of changes. A lot of 2025 is going to be a wild year for all of us, I think. So.
Yeah. And Emmy's drinking Dofo wine. So let's try this. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
This
Emmy?
is where you cheers us. So guess what you get to do? You get to draw a question.
Oh, Emmy gets to draw a wife question. And / listener question.
Hopefully it's something ridiculously good.
Okay. So if you could change one thing about the world, what would it be and why?
Me personally, would take care of our veterans because I am one. That's it. Fuck everybody else. I could fucking give world peace and I fuck off.
Dang, that's a good one. I think I would change the mindset of people that to really understand that like children are our future.
Yes.
And I think we need to spend more time developing our children and making the world a better place for our children, but also educating them. I think we spend too much time trying to rush them into adulthood to be kind of like we are. And I think there's a mindset change that needs to happen there. I think we need to protect them more, number one, obviously with like the P. Diddy thing and the sex trafficking and the Epstein and all that kind of stuff. I feel like at times children are an afterthought. And I think children should really be a forethought because when we get old and decrepit, they're the ones that are going to take care of us.
Yeah, we're leaving it to them.
Yeah, so I would want to shift the focus, the mindset of people onto like spending more time developing children and protecting our children.
Okay.
As opposed to raising them. Emmy?
That's good.
You have to answer too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Jack. I actually started a project just recently, and I'm working with kids, and I'm helping them create their own business. And
Nice.
it's all like connected to a holistic lifestyle, how they incorporate the stuff I'm going to share with you. And by following those principles, they get to create their businesses and follow through with everything. So
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
One thing we always laugh and joke about is like people talk about, oh, I'm raising kids. And no one ever teaches you, you're not raising kids, you're raising adults. They're kids right now.
Yeah.
But at some point, they're going to be an adult. So if you can take kids and give them that entrepreneurial kind of mindset.
Yeah, nobody teaches that. Like, if you were like,
No.
hey, start a business tomorrow, I don't fucking know how.
No, my kids will be like, we're going to sell candy.
Yeah.
We're going to eat 90% of it.
Yeah. We have a 90-10 rule.
Yeah. They will get high on their own supply for sure.
you know what? My son did that. I had a business fair like a few months ago, and he was selling food. And while he was supposed to be selling this stuff, he was actually eating the food and trying to sell it. Like, the next time you're not going to be doing food, we're going to do something else. So,
That's awesome. I think Ella would do that. Look how good this is.
Yeah.
Look at how
Yeah.
good this is.
The best representative.
yeah. On all the pictures and videos that we took, he's always like just stuffing his face.
I dig it.
That's awesome.
All right. So Czech practitioner is your title.
Yeah.
And that's Czech, CHEK.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Explain that to us.
So I came across this academy, and it's holistically. So we usually look at the body, the whole body, instead of just different levels in our body. And everything is connected. So with working out, eating, and just the stresses in our lives, everything is connected. So if something is not aligned, that's when you create illness or disease or you get sick.
Right. So a lot of times they talk about that, like, and Jared and I have talked about this, like our stress manifests itself differently.
Right.
My stress manifests itself in my stomach. When I get super stressed out, I don't eat. My wife, when she gets really stressed out, she eats all the time. Some people get like body pain. Some people get indigestion, and you don't necessarily correlate that.
You never link the things that are
Yeah.
wrong with you to the thing that is bothering you, right? So, like, for me, I had acid reflux really bad. My gallbladder was shit.
Yeah, Joel, it was on the floor up that Joel was
I was
on.
slipping on that big fan. But I said, like, oh, you know what? I ate spicy food today. I drank whiskey last night. I attributed it to my habits rather than something that could be wrong inside my body. And it wasn't until, I don't know, it lasted a week. And JJ
Yeah.
was like, you should probably go get that checked. After like 2 days, I'm like, nah, I'm fine.
As she shakes her head in the background with that "I told you so" look on her
Yeah,
face.
JJ's a mom. So I can totally understand like treating your whole body rather than trying to pinpoint symptoms of why you feel this way. It could be mental, it could be physical. I mean, I'm sure that you guys come across all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah, we do. Like depending on the area you're feeling the pain, that's not the root cause. It's actually deeper, and it's actually like in a different area of your life.
So I feel like you could kind of do that around tattoos, right? So I call it misplaced pain. So when you hurt here, but they're tattooing in your back, you hurt in your side, but they're tattooing like your back. It's same thing, right? Like you think like, oh, my side hurts, but they're like, dude, I'm not even close to your side.
Yeah.
So if somebody says like, oh, my kidneys hurt, like, well, why? What's your root cause? I'm sure there's a ton of things that we're going to get into today that you can help people try to understand, because when you try to figure out what your symptoms are, when you try to treat yourself, you're so far after the fact of trying to like, oh man, I have this thing, I need to take this to feel better. But if you start out earlier trying to take care of yourself, you won't find yourself in so many bad places.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You like need to listen to your body, and your body tells you exactly what's going on. And a lot of us, we're not connected to our body, so that's why we end up going to the doctors, and we just want to pop pills and like
Right.
just numb the pain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't get to the root cause, so it gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, it's funny. It's like therapy, right? Like a lot of people have like an anger issue, and they're like, I'm angry all the time. They don't realize that the anger issue stems from something that happened to them a long time ago.
Right.
How their parents treated them, some trauma that happened in their life, and they're just like, I'm just mad all the time. Like, okay, well, let's start talking and getting deeper and deeper into it till you get to the root cause. So that's one thing you have here is root cause practitioner, and we'll come back to that. But you also you specialize in holistic lifestyle coaching. So what's that all about?
So holistic lifestyle coaching, that's the thing that will get your health back in balance. There's principles, doctors that you have to follow through. And by practicing and applying those principles to your life, you can decrease of getting sick or catching any like illnesses or disease or creating that in your body.
That's awesome. Because I think most of us are reactionary.
All
And
of us.
I'll say that for myself.
Yeah.
I don't go to the doctor. I go my once a year annual checkup, and then I don't go to the doctor until something is bothering me to a point where I don't think I can remedy it at home with Tylenol or, Robitussin or some over-the-counter stuff.
So how does one get into becoming like a client of yours? Like, so it's they got to reach out to you and say like, hey, I'm having these problems, or is it kind of just, do you do like your own, not like a questionnaire, but like kind of like a checklist of like, hey, tell me what's bothering you,
Yeah.
and then we can go from there, kind of thing?
Yeah, so clients come to me like in different areas. Some want to lose weight. Some want to work on like emotional, like past trauma that's stored in them, or just some want to like get their health back in order or prevent getting sick. So it depends. Like I get different clients.
Okay.
So the next thing I have here too is postural alignment. This, I feel like we're reading your business card. You've got all your,
you've got all
your
things up there.
accreditations here. So what is postural alignment? What does that do?
Okay, so like
As she sits up straight in her chair.
I know as we slouch, dude. I feel like I need to like I'm slouching here
and
right
that's
now.
the thing, like a lot of us work in offices or
Yeah.
we drive a lot and our posture gets like declined and we get pain in our lower back or our body. So I specialize in helping correct the posture and get rid of the pain, and I guide my clients on what to do so they can prevent that from coming back.
That's awesome.
So is there like a specific way, not to give away your secrets or anything, but like, so you're so used to being comfortable laying back and relaxing, and sitting up straight nowadays is like very uncomfortable. Is there a way to, do you ease into that, or do you say like, hey, you got to correct this shit right away?
Well, the only thing is you need to stretch every night.
Okay.
Oh, like at the end of the day before
Yeah,
you
and
go
a
to bed.
lot of people, it's the simplest thing, but a lot of people don't do that. And like, that's why your posture gets worse and worse.
That's interesting. I would have never thought of that.
No.
I would have thought like Jared, like I have to remind myself to like.
Well,
Yeah, like I got to
you
put a pillow
actually
behind me.
You have to remind yourself every time you start slouching or
Yeah.
leaning to the side. Because I see a lot of clients when they come see me, like their body is like kind of like uneven. Like one shoulder's up, one shoulder's down. Like their pelvic is in or it's to the side. Like they lean more to one side than the other side. So
That's one thing I can tell when I get stressed out. I shrug. Like I bring my shoulders up, and I can tell the more tense I get, and I'll literally have to tell myself, "Relax your shoulders," and they'll drop like 2 inches. It's not like I'm kind of. I mean, I can feel it noticeably drop, and I can always tell when I'm stressed because I get all like, like your whole body gets tightened up.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that way.
And then people
my
forget
anger.
to breathe. Like when you get stressed out, you like get tense and you forget to breathe to expand your belly and your chest. And they've normalized how to like breathe where you're not breathing like fully. So that kind of like makes the body even more stressed.
So it's everything. We form bad habits as people that you help people kind of reset and get back to how the normal state of things should be.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
When you
I'm
need-
all fucked up then.
As we're talking to her, I'm like, man, I'm gonna start taking notes about it, and then I do this wrong.
I'm
and then
leaning
that
left
wrong.
as fuck right now.
I mean, if he's looking at
She's
the
looking
two
at
of
us like, you motherfuckers are.
wow.
Well, you know what? I brought my foam roller at the end of the session. I'm gonna have you lay on it so you can see like what I offer, and you can actually get to know like your body and like release a little bit of stress before we leave.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
I'm releasing a little bit of stress right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the other thing
Jiggling,
that
jiggling.
we fool ourselves with. Oh God, you have a couple drinks, and we get into that mindset, right?
Yeah.
When I have a bad day, oh man, I need a drink.
I need a drink.
You just say that. There's no scientific proof that a glass of alcohol, yeah, maybe it might relax you, but truth be told, it doesn't really.
Doesn't help.
And it's funny.
It does help.
Yeah.
For now. For right now.
But it's almost like it's almost psychosomatic, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to think, practicing modern medicine, the last 100 years, 150 years, we've been coming up with vaccinations and things like that. When we as a people came to the country, and people that lived out in the prairies and had babies in an adobe hut that their husband
Yeah.
built on a dirt floor, and they raised them like. They relied on holistic medicine,
all they
herbs
had.
and plants and things like that. And there's a lot of native people and native cultures that's what they have.
Right.
Yeah, and the what I offer is like I guide my clients on relearning all of that stuff, like relearning how to breathe and what we're supposed to be drinking and what we're supposed to be eating, and like all the new stresses that are coming up in our lives. It's actually causing the cancer, and it's causing disease and illness. And if you look back in the day, we didn't have that, and
Right.
it's just getting worse and worse now because of the stresses that we're getting right now.
So that's a good thing because
Yeah.
stress is
Everybody.
a huge
If you-
component in
yeah,
everyone's
if
life.
you talk to anybody who's over the age of, I don't know, fucking 10, like they've got some kind of stressor nowadays. When back in the day when we were kids, you just went out and fucked off and you didn't have anything to worry about. Like, but now these kids are so traumatized by life, and it's sad. I mean, it's really sad that we are putting the next generation in a position to be more fucked up, and this shit doesn't fix itself over time.
Yeah, and we are creating like a lot of trauma in our kids, and it's sad because I've been seeing a lot that it gets worse and worse with like just everything that's been going on right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine like kids who didn't graduate high school, didn't get those experiences, all the things, because we shut down the whole country. Like, that's going to have a trickle down effect that is going to bother them for a while because they didn't get those life experiences. So I think that, I don't know, if we could just hit reset, which is kind of what you're going to do for us.
Well, but I think the other part of it too is that we put so much stress on our children unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Like with sporting events. We had some
Now?
friends, and they had their son was not even in high school, and he was playing soccer, baseball, and football. And so on a Saturday, they're like, oh, we have a soccer game. And then he's changing uniform on the way to a baseball game. And then he's changing the uniform on the way to a Pop Warner game. Mm-hmm. And he's fallen asleep in the car between them. Mm. And they had this poor child in all these 3 sports. And their whole weekend was absorbed with those 3 sports. And then they went to school. And then after that, it was right at practice for a couple hours. And I've seen it a lot with a lot of people who are like, oh, my kid's in club volleyball. Like Ella just got in club volleyball, but they're like, oh, they're in club volleyball, rec volleyball, high school volleyball. And they're like, they're out till 8:30 at night, and they go to school, and then they're out, and it's practice, and they have very minimal time to just kind of catch their breath, like relax. And I think that this goes to, oh, we want you to get a scholarship. Right. We're trying to help you. We're trying to set you up for the next thing of success, but the implied stress is so young to get to that next stage that, I mean, may or may not happen.
Do you deal with teenagers and adults, or just adults? What is your customer base?
So with kids and adults. I work more with women and kids.
Okay.
There are a few men that I will work with, but it's mostly women and kids.
Okay, well, we do have 50% women listenership, so that's fucking right, perfect.
We're doing 75% of my household is women.
Yeah.
I'm outvoted.
So if somebody comes to you, if like a guy comes to you and he's like, hey, I really want some help, I got these problems and all these things, you'll hear them out. Do you refer to other people?
Yeah.
Okay.
I work with other Czech practitioners.
Okay.
So if I feel like it doesn't fit me, then I will advise them to go with someone else.
Right.
Are there this is probably a good question. Are there different strategies for dealing with stress between men and women? Or is it the human body is the human body?
It's way different.
Is it? Okay.
Women and men are way different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you differentiate between what do you think what are maybe some of the differences you see between the two from a treatment standpoint?
Well, I've noticed with men, they can get away with like 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And women, if you take those hours, like they cannot function. Like it's really bad.
That's Jack.
That's funny. I'm a 6 to 7 hour a night guy. My wife, 8 to 10. 8 to 10 hours a night. Like, she needs it.
Yeah, we need it.
No, JJ, you go to bed at 9 and you wake up at 5. That's plenty of fucking sleep.
But that's 8 hours.
JJ's looking at me like no, I go to bed at midnight, 1 o'clock.
You sleep 12 hours.
Easy.
Yeah, I've been with you, but you went fishing with me and slept 20 hours. You went into a mini coma.
I do
and
love
you know
sleep.
what? That's your body telling you need to rest.
I do rest all the time. I got a CPAP, so now I finally sleep. So that was my body telling me I'm dying. But now I sleep good. Now I get, I'm rested finally. And I've never been rested, which kind of makes me want to see what else I've been missing. Because I live the way that I live, and then I ask people about, like, hey, you got this thing? And they're like, nah, man, you're fucked up.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Yeah, that's not normal. And I'm like, oh, I thought we all just fucking had these fucking problems. Nope, just me. So I can see that, and I'm sure everybody has something different, and maybe one formula is not perfect for everybody, but you kind of go based on who you're dealing with, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, so when I work with the clients, I give them assessments and questionnaires, and we see the levels where they're high and the levels where they're in alignment, and then the levels that are low. So we go from there.
Okay. And so you've got root cause practitioner written up here, and in parentheses, cancer.
Yes.
So
you try to get to the root causes of what is driving this cancer. I mean, if you ask a mortician or whatever, somebody who does autopsies, what is the leading cause of death in people right now? They'll tell you cancer. Like, nobody gets to die from old age anymore. It's like, fucking, you had this thing or that thing. So you look at the root causes of, hey, you do this thing, and this thing is bad for you, or how does that work?
So when I'm working with a person that has cancer, I have to look at their stresses in their lives.
Okay.
So is it work? Is it family, friends? Is it what they're adding to their body, or like what they're eating, what they're consuming? So we do a lot of questionnaires, and eventually I'll ask, when did you get cancer? Like, when did you start feeling that cancer coming or that cancer creating? And there's always an event that they went through, and maybe they suppress those emotions, so that's when the cancer starts creating. So if you're not living an authentic life, if you're hiding or if you're sacrificing yourself and you're giving so much, then that's when you start creating the cancer.
Right, because your body is an amazing temple and tool and can do amazing things, but it can also fuck you up at the same time. Like, and if you're not taking care of yourself, cancers happen and heart problems and things. That I'm sure that there's a long laundry list of things that go wrong when you're not paying attention, because you can't see inside. You don't know what's wrong. You think one thing, but you're not a fucking doctor.
But you know what? You are your own doctor, and you can feel it when something is wrong.
Oh, 100%.
You can feel it, and that's when you should be listening to your body and, like deciding what to do to prevent it to get worse.
Yeah, so there's actually a very, I don't know if I call it famous, but there's a pretty well documented case that just happened recently about a investment banker. I want to say he worked for Bank of America or Wells Fargo or something in New York. He was working 100-hour weeks.
Oof.
And he died at like 36. Father, 2 kids, the whole 9 yards. And he died after he had been working 100-hour weeks. And he just literally dropped dead.
Yeah.
And his wife, I think she's suing Bank of America. It's one of the big banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Someone can check and verify. But the guy legit died, and she said it's because he was working 100-hour weeks. But that is what was expected, was that you do 100-hour weeks. And she's like, that's what killed him. Was literally the stress. And again, doing a 100-hour work week is a lot if you do the math.
Yeah.
That's 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then a little bit more on top of that.
Yeah. Well, and when you say, like, that's the expectation, right? So Bank of America or whoever's going to say, no.
Yeah.
We have a 60-hour work week. Same thing they tell you in your industry.
Yeah.
Hey, no, in construction, we work 8-hour days.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off, we work 8-hour days. No, the expectation is to be here early, to fucking get everything done, to leave late. I'm in charge. I have to do all these things. You, who are on salary, they'll work you to fucking death because they can.
Well, in the salary law, if you go and look, because I worked for a company a long time ago, and they were doing some really shady shit when it pertained to payroll. And
I think we've all worked for one of those places.
Yeah. But they had us all listed as salaried. Okay, so if you're salaried, you have to make a certain wage per the state. But what salary also says is, to kind of boil this down, is if you're a salaried employee, you need to work the amount of hours that it takes to accomplish your job. Is a real basic premise of what it says.
Gray area.
So if you're a fucking go-getter and you know how to manage your time and you work 6-hour days every day and you can get your job done, and they try to fire you, you can go, nope, the law states right here that I only have to work the amount of hours that it takes to do my job. But then on the flip side of the coin, if your boss loads you up with this huge workload and then you have to work 100-hour weeks, that's what is expected of you.
It's also it's also covered in the same thing.
So from a law standpoint, it's a catch-22. It's terrible. That is not how it should be.
Yeah.
Like, I think we as adults sacrifice a lot of our time and our work-life balance. Every company practices or says they practice work-life balance, and people don't necessarily adhere to it.
Yeah. So, Amy, do you get a lot of people who deal with overstress from work and things like that? You get that a lot?
Oh, yeah. Like, every client that comes in, like, it's something new. So it's interesting, like, to see, like I have to figure it out, like, what's going on with them and why are they creating this type of disease or, like, anything that's coming in, so.
Yeah, I mean, even there's 3 guys in this room. We could tell you our stress points, and you 2 girls could have completely different ones.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have stress similar, right? But it's for different shit. And I'm sure that you come across people who just, nobody's the same. Nobody has the same concerns.
No, yeah, everything's different. And I'm going to go back to what Jack said earlier where with the kids, like you're putting them into sports, into music, into different stuff. So you're they're trying to be like an overachiever, and then when you come into an adult life, that's what you're trying to aim, and you're trying to chase something that's really not there anymore. And
Yeah.
Yes.
and that's how the guy died, because he was always trying to chase that, and
Yeah.
and people don't know when to say no. I'm not going to do this. It's not for me. They just want to keep bringing in the money and
Yeah.
creating that lifestyle.
The problem with, I'll say the problem with men, because I don't know that, I'm a man, so I know this. Your pursuit to make the most money you can, to have the best life you can for your family, is never ending. I'd work 1,000 hours a week if I had to have the things I have now. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I don't have to. I'm very lucky, and my job's pretty chill. But, at 37, if you're making $500,000 a year, you're chasing that. Like, how do I get to $1 million? And you're never content. As a person, I've never been. I'm glad I make this money, but as you make more, you live up to your standard. You want nicer things. You take nicer vacations. You fucking have this, that, the other. Your car, this, that. If you stay at your means at 20 and you're 40 and you're killing it, you're living very well. But as people, the rabbit, the rabbit hole never ends, and the chase is never over. So I can see people being stressed all the time, especially about money today and living in California. Like,
It's hard.
it's fucking outrageous.
So I'll ask this, and I don't know if it's probably too generalized of a question. What are like the top 3 stressors, right? Because there has to be trends that you see. I know you see different patients and different people that have different paths in life.
How many? My husband's a piece of shit. He's at work too much. He's never home.
Well, yeah. What are like some of like the top 3 kind of consistent things you see?
So I'm gonna say, like, with women and men.
Yeah.
Well, with women, it's relationship. With the kids.
Okay.
And they don't make time for themselves.
Yeah,
They
100%.
sacrifice themselves. So.
I can see that.
I can see that.
And then for men, men just work so much, and they don't get enough sleep, so that kind of messes up with their health, and that's why they're always getting sick, and it's bad.
Well, and personally, too, because your husband worked crazy-ass hours far away from home, and you got to think, so, like, same as Jack. So Jack has a 2-hour drive into work. I'm sure that he probably had a 2-hour drive into work. You work your day, and then you have a 2.5 to 3 hour drive home because traffic is shit because we live in California. That's 4 to 5 hours of your day of nothing but fucking driving. That's terrible. Like, that's so much stress, and then you get mad because you're on a freeway in traffic,
Yeah.
and people are doing dumb shit all the fucking time because they don't care, because they didn't just work 15 hours.
And then think about it, you're sitting down for 3 to 5 hours, so
Yeah.
your posture gets even worse.
I was just gonna say, I have my
I
back.
fucking gangster lean in my truck.
See, I don't. Kendra makes fun of me because my truck seat is very, like, 90 degrees. I sit up very straight
That's
in my
good.
truck, and she's like, "Are you uncomfortable?" I'm like, "No, this is comfortable. I feel."
I could look out the back window and the front window at the same time.
Oh yeah, Jared's-
But then there are some that are, like, leaning to the side.
Yeah.
Well, because your
Punch.
armrest, right? So I catch myself on the
Yes.
armrest a lot. Once you're in a vehicle for so long, you get complacent, and you just kind of whatever's comfortable for you at the moment. But I've been in a car, driving and found myself, like, just leaning on the fucking armrest, like, or the center console thing. And I don't know how long I've been doing it, because when you drive, it's so mundane that you're in a routine. You don't even pay attention anymore. You know what's going on around you, but you are, damn, I'm home already? Like, you get in those zones where you just don't pay attention to anything.
And if I were to do a postural alignment on you, your body would probably be uneven
I'm fucked
and
up.
twisted.
I'm fucked up. I can tell you. When we're done, I'll stand up. You can be like,
Well, but here's the
you're
funny
left,
thing.
you're right, you're leaning, you're...
The funny thing that Jared and I share, we both broke our right shoulder blades and collarbones, and Jared and I each have a plate and screws on our collarbones on our right side. And I can actually stand in the mirror. If you put me in a mirror and I take my shirt off and look at me, my right shoulder is a little bit
Just
lower
a
than my
little
left
bit
shoulder.
lower,
Just
yeah.
a little bit. To the point where my tattoos used to just be 3/4 sleeves. So they had a hard line where they stopped. So when I got my tattoos, the guy goes, "Oh, hold your arms up like this." And I held my arms up, and he drew a straight line from one tattoo to the other. So they look great when you're looking at my forearms. Then when I put my arms down and I'm standing there, people would go, your tattoos are two different levels.
Yeah.
And I go, it's not my tattoos, it's my shoulders.
My body.
And I go, my right shoulder is actually a bit lower than my left, so it looks weird because I destroyed my shoulder. And Jarrett, when we first met, we were talking about that. We have the same scar, we have the same thing, but we both have a plate and screws on our right collarbones. And so, but you can physically see but you can physically see the difference in me where one shoulder's lower than the other.
So up here we also have, what is this? Natural remedies. So
Pharmaceutical versus natural.
Oh yeah. So the big pharma is a problem. We're not going to pretend that they're not the fucking giant gorilla on the block. They will give you a pill for everything. And every pill, you watch these commercials and you hear the side effects. I mean, it's everything short of fucking death. Like, I'd rather just fucking not take these pills. It's could cause stress and suicidal thoughts and like,
loose bowel.
Yeah,
like
you know what? Hey, my anxiety's not that bad where I want to kill myself now. I'm going to take your pill. I want to kill myself after I take it.
And then when you take those pills, like, you get sick or something else is wrong, so you have to take pill for that. And then it keeps going and going and going.
So what? So natural remedies as far as for health, for when you get sick, for everything. Like, what do you? Let's not peddle all your secrets, but as far as like for sleep, I'm sure you have a remedy for sleep, right? You have like teas and things like that you recommend.
There are a lot of things. Like, I'll share this with you guys. So the 4 doctors, if you can get those aligned, you can decrease a lot of sickness and illness and prevent from getting sick. And the 4 doctors are Dr. Quiet, so that's getting your 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Dr. Happiness, creating something that you enjoy to do that'll prevent you from getting depressed, or like you're actually enjoying doing things.
JJ's the thing I like to do is not be depressed. Hey, you have to help my mental well-being, all right?
Now add that stress to your life.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Movement, you have to keep moving your body. Like, every day, go for walks, work out, run. Like, do something that you're moving your body. And then Dr. Diet, what are you eating? What are you putting in your body? You are what you eat, so, yeah.
Well, yeah. Jarrett, you're looking at me, bud, but I got some of my doctors in line.
I have none.
Yeah.
I don't. That's probably why I'm so fucked up all the time, is because I Dr. Eat. I had Carl Jr. today. I take customers to lunch all of the time. As much as I try not to drink, you find yourself in gatherings and in social situations where, hey man, let's have a drink, let's have a beer, let's do this, let's do that. The only thing that I'm finally fucking getting is sleep.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start there.
But here's a funny story, too. So my wife and I went to Peru, and we hiked the Inca Trail, and we were worried about altitude sickness. And so there's a point when we hike when you're at 14,000 feet. So we were worried about altitude sickness. So I went to Kaiser beforehand, and when you travel, you can go to your doctor and say, I'm going to travel, and they'll go, these are the immunizations you need to get. But we were saying, like, we're going to go to altitude. I'm worried about getting altitude sickness. Oh, well, here's altitude sickness medication. If you feel it, take it. So we look at the side effects for altitude sickness. It's all the fucking things you would feel if you had altitude sickness.
Yeah. I mean,
literally.
If you look at the side effects.
And a friend of ours, they did the same thing. And she said, you know what? I'm going to take this here in California and just see how I feel. She took one of these altitude sickness pills and just felt like death. Yeah. She felt like shit.
I'd rather fucking die on this mountain.
So, but when you go to Peru, what they all tell you, every hotel has coca leaves in the lobby, and they have coca tea. And it's what a component that cocaine is derived from, but they're like, dude, just chew coca leaves. And the first day on the trail, I started feeling kind of shitty. And this guy's like, here, have some coca leaves. So I started chewing coca leaves. Felt way better. Yeah. Never touched the altitude sickness medication. Felt way better. And by the way, all the porters, everybody out there, they had a couple, it was like chewing tobacco. They had a couple coca leaves rolled up in their gums, and they chewed that stuff all day.
Well, you have to imagine that before they realized they can make cocaine out of this plant, there was a real necessity for it. And then somebody was like, oh, if you mix this and this and this and this, then you can get this derivative. But like ayahuasca, like things like that, DMT, things like that, they had real physical purposes, you know, for your body before somebody figured like, oh man, you could get high as fuck off of this shit or whatever. So everything had a purpose before. So people look at coca leaves like, oh my God, it's cocaine. Like, no, it's not. It's a derivative, sure, but it's not, and it's legal in Peru. Otherwise, they wouldn't give it to you. So it's their culture. Like, you got to look at other people's culture too.
Yeah.
Like, people do different things in different cultures because that's their culture, and a lot of things that we as Americans now do is big pharma. Like, we expect, hey, I have this thing. Here's a pill. Yeah. Everything in life is a pill.
And we're too lazy to do our own research, and that's why we're always at the doctors.
Yeah. Well, we laugh too because we call it practicing medicine.
Yeah. The doctors are practicing medicine.
So I had a recent kind of like heart issue thing, and I went in and they were like, okay, we'll do an EKG. Okay, that didn't come up. We'll do an echocardiograph. Okay, that didn't show anything. Okay, well, we'll have you wear a little heart monitor, and anytime you feel chest pain, you push the button on it. Okay, that didn't show anything. Mm-hmm. So, like, what are the next steps?
Nothing. You figure it out or you die. Here's a pill.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a beta blocker. There you go.
Jared and I today, we were driving back from Temecula, and a friend of mine called me. He's in the hospital. He had a number of seizures. And the first thing I said is, did they do a CT scan or an MRI? And he said, yep. And I said, what came up? And he said, nothing. They said, my brain activity and everything looks healthy. And I said, you had 12 seizures in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
There is something wrong somewhere. And they've looked at you and they can't tell you why, but like, I'm no doctor, but.
Yeah, that's excessive. And he was, and not like all at the same, like not the same stressors, right? So like he was driving, he was at home, he was in different places. Yeah. So when you think about things, that's your body telling you something. Your body's telling you like, hey, we have a fucking problem. And anytime that your body does something weird, it's your body telling you like, hey, something's wrong.
You need to slow down.
Yeah.
And the best thing is to get out in nature, ground yourself.
Yes.
Breathe fresh air, you know, move
What's
your
that book
body.
you read?
The Comfort Crisis.
The Comfort Crisis. Have you heard of that?
No.
So you actually would probably like it.
You'd probably like it, yeah.
But the Comfort Crisis, the gentleman talks about getting away from screens.
Yeah.
But you need to be away from a screen for 3 days. So he said you need to go somewhere where you don't have cell phone service. So you put your cell phone away. You don't watch television at night. And that's one of the things he said why people crave or why people like to go camping. And everybody says, hey, let's go camping. That sounds like a great idea. That's your body's natural way of telling you, like, you need to put your distractors away.
Yeah, you need to get away.
Yeah. And he said it really does. It takes 3 days till you kind of like detox, if you will, from a screen until you actually sit there and then you're not checking your phone. You're not looking at it. You're not anything. And you're just kind of, it's a mental reset.
Yeah.
They say too, grounding like walking barefoot on grass.
Yeah.
They say like
to the earth.
Yeah, they say like that's huge.
Yeah, it's like resetting. It's like a reset for your body if you ground yourself, and that's what I do with clients. I tell them go ground yourself when you're feeling stressed, when you feel like overwhelmed. Just go outside and clear your mind and just ground yourself. Take your shoes off.
So what do you do in your personal life?
For what?
Let's just say, so we have right here, we have natural remedies with another arrow down to preemptive or preventative. What are some of the practices that you do in your life for preventative, kind of like maintenance, if you will, preemptive maintenance?
So the main thing I do is I create something that I enjoy to do like every day, like something that makes me happy and that doesn't stress me out. That's the main thing I do with clients. Like I remind them, like, get involved with something that you love to do, you know, and focus on yourself because a lot of times we sacrifice for our kids, our families, and we don't make time. So that creates stress, you know. And if you have something to look forward to, like a dream or like a vision or something, like that's going to decrease a lot of stress in your life, and you're going to want to be healthy to be able to achieve your goals, and you know.
Yeah.
It creates alignment in your life. And
so what is your dream, though? What do you do?
Well, my dream is to create like a sanctuary for people that are sick, and that's I've been telling my husband that I want to get a piece of land and create a sanctuary, and then people that have cancer and need to get away, like they would come to this place, and I would guide them to heal themselves.
Oh, nice.
That'd be fucking awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
So
Or is there any kind of like what Jared was saying about like any teas you take for sleeping? But is there any? I don't want to say like.
How about like daily? Like, so a lot of people will take vitamin C pills, and I mean, there's a whole slew of pills that people take in the morning. JJ tries to go all natural, right? So she takes roots and fucking all kinds of stuff. And is that kind of the way that you go? Like, hey, in the morning, if you get up, don't drink a cup of coffee, have a tea with this or that or something to that effect.
well, in the morning when I wake up, like I used to drink coffee. I'm not a big drinker, but I'm obsessed with coffee. But that actually messes up your body.
Of course it does.
And then you get your energy from that, and you don't want that because you're going to be craving it every day, you know?
Right.
So
And your body then needs that to produce the energy. Right.
It's kind of like an addiction. So, like what I do, I take have you ever heard of black chilaji?
You told me about this.
Yeah.
A while after we came back from the boar hunt, we were talking because I was talking about what was it that Dirk takes?
Elementees?
No.
Oh, no. What does Sammy give us?
NAD, but there was
NADs.
another one. There's a powder that you take and you put it under your tongue.
Yeah, it's the
It's white,
derivative.
and it tastes like
It's a derivative of
tastes super
NAD.
bad.
I want to say you called it like NAT or
yeah.
NAC
NAC.
maybe.
Okay. Well,
So yeah.
I usually just take shilajit and then I add a little
I
bit of
have that in my-
magnesium.
See?
Yeah, if you have that.
So you take magnesium?
Yeah.
Okay.
I pour it in there because that drink is very bitter. It's not that good, but you have to get used to it, you know.
Sure.
Well,
Now-
alcohol wasn't that good at some point in time too. When we all started, it tasted like shit, but we drank it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I usually take that. That has over like 80 minerals. So
Oh, dang.
It creates energy just by taking natural remedies like what JJ's doing, vitamins, but make sure they're very clean and organic, because if you're taking other supplements that aren't really that well, it's just gonna get you sicker.
It cancels out, right? Like at some point in
Yeah.
time, if you're putting good shit in your body and bad shit,
Yeah, and you can tell if you take something good, like a good supplement, you can feel it in your body. You get energy and you feel good. And if you take something bad, you feel drained. And
I don't pay that much attention to my body. I should really start.
Yeah.
Because I can drink a cup of coffee right now and go lay down and go to sleep. Like, energy drinks don't work for me. None of that. I don't notice any difference from those. And I have no idea. But,
you have to connect with your soul and
Yeah.
listen to your soul. Sometimes we're not conscious of it. So
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of the times. So we've said this before, we don't like to complain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But fuck, if you don't start talking to somebody about your problems, you're gonna die from the shit that you got going.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't want to feel their emotions.
Right.
And then you suppress them because you feel like if you want to cry or if you're angry or, if you're sad, you feel like you're weak, and it's normal to feel those feelings and allow them to come out and not let them sit in your body, because then that creates a lot of suppression.
Right.
And then you create trauma in your body and that gets stored, and that's how you end up becoming sick.
Yeah, so everything comes back to wellness. Everything. If you are not connected with your body, people wonder why they're sick all the time, right? Because you're not listening to your body. You're not doing the things that you need to do. You're not taking care of yourself up front. I used to never get sick. Now I got a fucking little booger eater who goes to school with other little booger eaters, and now I'm always fucking sick.
The stress.
Yeah. All right, so what do we have next?
I think really, I want to kind of key in on the pharmaceuticals versus natural.
Yes.
So obviously with the recent election that came out, and RFK has levied some serious threats against the FDA.
Yeah, well, you
And-
saw the old person who was in charge of
Yeah.
our...
and the pushing of pharmaceuticals on people.
Right.
And it's funny that Emmy, you brought up earlier. Yeah, you take a pill for one thing. Well, then you have to take a pill to counteract that, and then you have to take a pill to counteract that, and they send you on this kind of rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And it's the old statement is what is it? Modern living through chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, and it's compounds that are put together that are here. This is what you got to do. This will cure you. But like chemotherapy makes some people so incredibly sick that some people die from the chemotherapy as opposed to the cancer,
because it's poisoning you, right? And
it poisons your entire body.
Yeah.
Like going back to the holistic look at the body is, you're targeting cancer. So you have pancreatic cancer.
Right.
We give you chemo. Well, chemo is going to hurt your entire body.
right, yeah,
It's not going to hurt the cancer, but it's going to hurt you as a whole.
Yeah, they might get rid of the cancer, but eventually, have you heard those stories where the cancer comes back and aggressively?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
And that's
way
because
more.
they didn't get to the root cause, and getting to the root cause is figuring out like what emotion you have suppressed, what have you sacrificed in your life. And a lot of people I've worked with a few people that have cancer, and when I ask them these questions, some of them don't want to actually acknowledge it or and feel that. And that's when the cancer keeps coming back until you actually feel those emotions and release them and actually start setting boundaries, and then your body's gonna like hear that and it's gonna heal itself. But that's why a lot of people die from cancer.
right.
So we always joke, and I say, like, you got to get the poison out. Mm-hmm. But I really think that's probably a big thing, is a lot of people don't realize that you've been stuffing things down
Yeah.
and compartmentalizing, and you just keep packing things down and down deeper in your psyche and don't realize that
Oh, yeah.
maybe it affects you in a physical manner.
Well, and then you explode on fucking the wrong people, and then they don't understand why you're in such a terrible mood, and you don't mean to put that anger on them. You just can't keep that shit in forever.
Yeah, and then like by you doing that, you create cancer with that person.
Right.
So especially with moms that get breast cancer, it can be passed down or not passed down, but like you can create the cancer for her because you're creating so much stress in her life, and she's sacrificing herself so much. So like if we talk about breast cancer, a lot of women, if you ask them, they're always giving, they're sacrificing, and that's why they end up getting breast cancer. And until they start putting themselves first and correcting that and setting those boundaries, then the cancer will go away. But
So in what you do, you can look back, like have a case history of like, hey, these people who had this thing all suffered from similar things, and that's what brings them all to the table to be the same, is that they all suffered from one thing or another that caused them stressors or whatever, and now they have this thing.
yeah, so when I'm working with clients, I look at their levels. So we have, some people call them levels and some people call them chakras, but we look at the levels. So we have the psyche, like Jack said, we have different levels in our body. And like with people, like men that get cancer, I think it's testicular cancer. It has to do with the relationship. And then women that get ovarian cancer, it has to do with the relationship they have. So the cancer is created through those relationships. Until you are able to work on that, then the cancer goes away. But if you stay in a relationship and you cannot fix it, then the cancer gets bigger and then you end up dying.
What's funny,
Fuck.
I've been in bad relationships. We've all been in bad relationships.
Yeah.
And I can honestly, my dad has told me I've been in a bad relationship with somebody and I come out of it, and my dad would be like, you look so much better. And you are so much happier. And there have been moments where I've actually gone, and you feel less heavy. And the emotional burden starts to affect you physically. I mean, I can say that's honestly has happened to me. It happened when I had a job. I was a news director for a news channel, and I had terrible acid reflux. I would start eating Tums at like 10 in the morning. And I'd eat a Tums, and I'd eat Tums all day because my stomach was so upset because I was under so much stress. I quit that job and started at a construction company. Poof, it all went away. And it was like,
Yeah.
I should have done this 2 years ago.
And
What
then
am I
you
doing?
have to look like at the areas like sometimes with the stomach we hold anger, resentment, and or like lung cancer. Like people that get lung cancer is they're grieving something and they're suppressing it and they're not feeling those emotions. So
I better get my shit out. I don't think I've really. So my dad passed, and I was fucking very bummed about it, you know. And then I don't know. I feel like I got to be that guy, you know, for everybody. So I kind of just put on a face and a front of like, no, I'm good. I'm good. What do you need? I'll take care of you. But I think like randomly, like I'll get sad now about certain things or certain memories. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And I think it's because I haven't processed my shit. Like I had so much bad shit happen back to back to back to back to back that like my mom's husband died. And then my dad passed, and then fucking I had a dog die. Like I just was like, it was so much shit on me at once, and I was just like, I can't process any of this shit right now. So I kind of just went numb to it, you know, like that's life, you know, like oh, you know, that's just this and that, and it is what it is, or it's life, but now like I can feel myself like. At certain times, like I'll get angry about something, or I'll be sad about something, or somebody will say something, and I'll just be like you don't fucking know, like you don't know my thing, like you can't. We all have different things, but if you compare your thing to my thing and they're not the same thing, like it's infuriating because it's like, oh yeah, no, my homeboy's fucking best friend's dad's uncle died too. Like I know exactly what you're going through. Like you don't have a fucking clue. like you can't compare your shit to my shit. So I think that a lot of that kind of shit bothers me, but I'm one of those guys who holds on to things. I bury my shit. I always bury my shit. Like I would rather deal with my shit than put it out to the world. But that's how I've always been.
but have you really been dealing with it? Have you actually
No, I drink heavy. I drink heavy. and
that's the thing, like we're gonna have those stresses in our lives. We can't prevent death,
Right.
so a lot of that shit is gonna happen. But you have to allow yourself to feel those emotions and let them out. Like you don't have to tell the whole world, but lock yourself in the room and allow yourself to cry. Like if you need to cry, if you're sad, just feel that emotion and let it out. If not, it's gonna consume you, and eventually you're gonna end up getting sick.
There's gonna be problems from
Yeah.
it. Yeah, 100%.
But
And you don't want that because you have a beautiful family and you want to be there for them, you know?
Nah, that's my whole thing in opening up. But like with this podcast, like we're very open and honest about our things because we want other people to be open and honest about their things. But if it wasn't this podcast and us actually talking about our things so other people feel comfortable talking about their things, I wouldn't talk about my shit at all. Like, so that's a big proponent of why we do this podcast, is because we want people to realize, yeah, you're going through some shit and it sucks, but you're not alone and you can talk to people about it, and it helps. Because if you don't, obviously you get sick. Like I'm sure that a lot of things transpire, and like I said, you can't see inside your body, but stress is bad for you. Anxiety is bad. Like all these things are bad for your well-being.
Yeah.
So
when you and I were raised with the same dads, like
our
Pops,
dads are the same.
Pops and Senior are interchangeable. They have parented both of us in different manners over the years. But one thing, like you said, with like the difference between men and women is, men need less sleep, but we tend to try to be like more providers. The other proponent of that is we tend to be protectors.
Right.
And so you put on the happy face just like I do, and I'm very upset, but my family's upset.
Right.
And my dad would always tell me, like, it's not your time to cry.
No.
It's their time to grieve. You have to be the anchor, and you can grieve when you need to, but you let everyone else fall apart, and everyone else can grieve, and everyone else can do the thing, and you keep your shit together, and then you can fall apart later.
You scream at your steering wheel on the way to work.
Yeah, but I think that's what it boils down to is I do the same thing. I go, okay. Mm-hmm. And like when Kendra's dad died, everyone else, there's all these other people crying at the funeral, and I'm just sitting there stone faced. And my wife gave me shit. She's like, "How come you weren't crying?" I said, "It's not my time."
But that's the thing. Like, that's what society expects of the man.
Right.
Yeah.
Why can't you cry with your wife? Like, if there's a death in your family and you wanted to cry, why can't you cry? That actually connects you with your wife, and you guys have a better connection. But it doesn't mean that you're weak or you're a little bitch. Or if you cry, it doesn't mean that. Like, it's okay to show those emotions. And if you don't want to show it right there, like, go to the restroom and cry it out, you know?
But we have to break those fucking barriers of where it's this macho. You have to be macho. Yeah. You can't fucking show fear. I never, not once ever, saw my dad cry. Not ever. And I know that he's been in fucking terrible times, terrible situations where... like normal people would cry, but my dad was not. He never in front of us. If my dad ever cried, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Let me ask you this: if you were to see your dad cry, would you have like seen him different?
No, I'd have cried with him.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say the same thing, dude. I'd have been sobbing with him.
That's the thing. Like you hold back because that's what you were taught.
So
and
so
you want to pass down that
so
to
I
your
don't
kids?
want my son to see me sad. Like I my dad's birthday, I started crying. We were all laying in bed, and my son's so fucking mature. I just want him to be 9. But he just hugs me. He's like, "It's okay, Dad." I'm like, "Be 9, be 9." Like,
but what's funny is So we'll look at the situation like when Kendra's dad died. Okay, it's not my time to cry. But when is it?
There's no good time.
But then something else happens, and you shield your family from that. And then something else happens, and you shield, like with you. Craig died. Mm-hmm. Then your dad died. Then your dog died.
Yeah.
And you literally had like 6 weeks of just hell.
Yeah.
That happened to you. And you just had to like hold it together because you were keeping it together for the rest of the family. But
I had to deal with my mom's thing, and I had to deal like it was.
But then to Emmy's point, when is it your time?
I don't know. Next year, I don't know.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But I think that the cycle that men get in is that you just keep protecting your family and shielding your family and doing these things. And Ella and I know Hunter's had some stuff that's happened at school, and Ella and Charlie have had some stuff happen at school, and they're upset. And if I'm feeling upset, I'm not feeling upset anymore because they are.
Because they are, yeah.
And now it's my time to shield that. But I think that is very much a common trend with men.
Yeah, and you sacrifice yourself, and it's okay to put yourself first. And if you need a day to yourself, like take a day off. And if you don't want to cry in front of your family, like take off and go somewhere and cry, you know, like feel those emotions, stop suppressing them because it's going to get worse. Yeah.
And I noticed that when I bury stuff, it does not manifest well when it comes back up. Like it is a terrible, I've been dealing with this, you don't understand. And then I'm this fucking asshole who's just ripping people apart.
That's probably a good question then for you.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're not living in alignment, everything's going to keep going wrong in your life.
Right. So when it rains, it pours. Yeah, 100%.
And if you're actually listening to your heart and doing things that you actually want to do, like everything, the universe is going to give you everything. But if you're not living in alignment, a lot of things are going to be going wrong in your life. You're going to lose your job. People are going to die. Like, everything that you think that can happen, it will happen. But if you actually listen to your heart and do what it wants it to do, like, you're actually going to get blessings after blessings every time.
Yeah.
So do you see, maybe we'll see this, for the men and women that you've seen, their stressors, the reactions, I'm sure when you do a questionnaire with some of the folks that come and talk with you, They must list like reactions to things.
How many people are honest up front? Like before you have to dig to like their root.
They're not honest.
Then nobody's ever honest because nobody wants to put their shit out.
Because like I'll work with clients for like 2 to 3 months, and then later on I find out something. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you tell me this? Like share this with me, you know? But they're not honest with themselves, so they kind of like blind themselves.
But I
Yeah.
would think a lot of men would come to you and go, "I'm angry. I'm tired and I'm angry."
No.
Like for me, I think stress and things that I push down manifest to what Jared's saying. They come out as anger. We're upset about something, but there are times I get mad and I look back and I go, "Why the fuck am I mad
Yeah.
about that?" And I think it's because it's something that I've pushed down.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if it's from a female perspective. Maybe it's to their point, like they sacrifice a lot, right? And it comes back as it the reaction that comes out of that, or the reason they come to talk to you about why they're feeling so upset or sick or down is because that's the natural reaction of the body. I'm just wondering if there's a correlation between the two.
Yeah, there is.
That's crazy.
It's wild. So, people, when you are going to a place to get help, be fucking honest.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise,
Yeah, that's probably step
Yeah,
one.
okay.
otherwise,
You're right. Step one.
You're wasting your time, my time, your money, like all the things you're wasting them. I'm here to help, right? Like, so you're here to help people, and they need to understand, like, hey, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to fucking talk down to you or feel like I don't need to feel any type of way about your life. I'm here to help. You tell me all of your things, and I will help you fix them. But if you don't tell me, I can't fucking help you fix that one thing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm very picky who I work with. There are a few people that come to me and I can tell they're not ready, and it's just going to be a waste of my time, so I will not work with them. But there are some that are very open, and like you just have to be like very careful who you work with.
So
Right.
that's probably a good question or a good segue. If someone listens to this and they say, you know what, it's time for a natural change, I want to do something, they come to Emmy. Step 1, step 2, step 3, what is the best way for them to come into it? What's going to make it productive for both of you?
Well, I usually when I work with clients, we take it very slow. So I don't rush through it because I've been doing this for 10 years, and like I started off as a fitness trainer, and if you give a client like a diet plan, like they'll like follow it for a month, but then they'll fall off it, you know. So we want to start slowly. Like with clients, I'll start with their sleep, then eventually I'll start with like getting them outside into nature, getting something that they enjoy to do, like Dr. Happiness, like create something, you know. And every week we're adding new things to it. So we take it very slow, but eventually those slow steps become a big.
Right. It over time, the little things that you do. So that's what people don't understand is that the little changes you make,
Yeah.
a little bit. Before you know it, you've changed all of your things, and it doesn't feel like you changed them right away because you haven't. And that's the hardest thing is change today. Like, hey, you're going to stop doing this. You're going to start doing this. Nobody's ready for that. But if you say like, hey, why don't you try go walk for 15 minutes? Go do this. Go do that. And then they're getting a pattern of hey, you know, I walked 20 minutes today because I wasn't tired or I wasn't this or I felt great. I wanted to be in nature. And then before you know it, their whole lifestyle changes based on things that you're giving them a little bit at a time
Yeah.
that's making them better.
Yeah, and I don't even take away their bad habits. Like eventually those bad habits are going to like fall off easily.
Right.
Because
Because
you're
you're not
actually-
going to want to.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
getting to that root cause of like, why are you feeling this way?
Yes.
Why do you need those bad habits, you know, or those bad addictions?
So when I try to get into shape and I don't drink or eat fucking disgusting food or whatever the case, I don't crave it. Like when I start seeing results, like I say the same thing about money. Like once I get a fat stack in my bank account, I don't want to buy dumb shit anymore. But when you're a kid and you have $2, the ice cream man comes around, you're fucking like fucking hey, oh my god, I got ice cream.
I want a bomb pop.
Yeah, but like as soon as like for me, like I find it very weird because of the way that I live my life. But as soon as I get a stack of money in my account, I act like I'm poor. Like I don't want to spend it. And that's the same thing. Like when I get into like a health kick or something, like I don't want to do the things that I know are going to throw me back into my bad ways.
Yeah. Just applying yourself like to a dream, like tying yourself to a dream, and that's going to keep you in like alignment, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't have nothing to look forward to, you're always going to go back to your old habits or addictions.
Well, and I'll ask you this too. everybody wants immediate results.
Yeah.
So if you're
I want to look like your husband tomorrow.
yeah, but if you're slow rolling this in, that's got to be a big part of your practice, is trying to manage your clients' expectations. Because I'm assuming they want, everybody at Big Pharma has also sold us this: just take this pill.
Just take this pill. Tomorrow you'll be fine.
Take this pill. Take the shot. You're going to lose 10 pounds a week, and you're going to be skinny. You're going to be in a bikini in 5 weeks. I'm assuming
minus the suicidal thoughts and the diarrhea and
the leaky butthole. But
and growing a dick, or your dick's gonna fall off.
But I'm assuming like part of your practice has to kind of be managing client expectations,
right? Because everybody's got to want. If I don't have results next month, I quit.
Yeah.
Well, you're not my client, then I don't want to work with you. You have to have patience, And if you're looking for like an easy pill to take and then just lose
There's no
weight,
such thing.
You're going at it the wrong way, And
Yeah.
there's a lot of trainers that can give you all that stuff, There's a lot of trainers, but I just don't work that way, and I know who I want to work with.
Well, that's good too. Be like being selective, and it's funny.
Yeah.
We are selective.
But we're selective, and Joel can attest to this too. Neil that we go hunting with, Neil is selective with the guides that he takes hunting, and
Yeah.
I think once you start to hone your craft and really understand what you can bring to the table,
what you bring to the table, yeah.
that you're not just going to take anybody off the street that's going to be like, hey, fix me. Emmy, fix me. I'm a mess.
So it's not you're not that person chasing a dollar to sell somebody a dream, right? Like, hey, this is a real thing that I believe in, that I can help you with, but you have to be ready for that help.
Yeah, and I mean, back in the day, I would take anybody because
Yeah.
I was chasing that dollar.
Right.
But now I know my value, and I know what I bring to the table, so I attract like the clients that I want.
That's good.
So how about we have a little bit of Emmy's basic,
Yeah, why don't you sell yourself real quick to all of our listeners?
but give us some basic practices that people should follow.
What is so step one, before anybody calls you, what should
Yeah.
they have? What should they practice that will make it easier for you to be selective of them, rather than
Yeah.
you being like, hey, you're not ready?
So the number one thing I would say, just get your 8 hours of sleep. That's gonna help your health. You're not gonna be feeling like drained or low mood. Like, that's actually gonna give you energy. The next thing I would say is your diet. Cut out white sugar, white table salt. So Himalayan pink salt.
Yeah, that's JJ got me on that shit.
Celtic salt. Even if you don't have spring water, like, you can add a little bit of the salt to your water.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of us are dehydrated, so that actually can help you, And the next thing I would say is get out in nature, That's going to help you with your stress.
A lot of people don't realize they're dehydrated.
Yeah.
You got to drink a lot of water.
You have to drink a lot of water.
Like
but
a lot of water.
But you are at that same time flushing out all of your minerals that are in your body, and you have to replace those with something.
Yeah, electrolytes, salt.
Yeah. So the guy from King of Queens,
Kevin,
he was in that
I can see him. Paul
Blart,
Blart,
Mall Cop, that guy.
Kevin,
Insert name later.
whatever.
He went 41 days without food, and he drank water, but he said he put salt in his water continuously, and he lost a gang weight, which I'm not saying don't do that. That's
Yeah, 'cause he had no food.
terrible. Starvation is terrible.
That's called a crash diet.
Yeah. But he said he went 41 days, and he would put
Kevin James.
Kevin James. He'd put
Sorry.
salt in his water. And he was like, you have to put salt in your water. You have to give your body something that it can survive on. Yeah. Because what people don't understand is that your sweat tastes salty because you're producing fucking salt in your sweat glands. Like, salt is a big part of your body and what you need. It's not water. Like, if you just drank water all the time, you would probably fucking die from lack of good shit in your body.
But so we do summer safety initiatives, and I know Joel's been part of this on job sites when we're working in the Inland Empire and it's 120 degrees, and they're like, "Oh, you got to drink water, drink water, drink water now." And did you got to drink water, take electrolyte tabs.
Yeah. Electrolyte tabs are crazy key.
We had a paramedic on a job site that I was on. We had a full-time paramedic. What he really did is he walked around and he had his safety vest. His pockets were stuffed with electrolyte tablets, and they looked like the Lifesaver, like this single pack, like mint, like Lifesavers. They were an electrolyte tab, and he would go drink some water, but you got to take this because, to your point, you'll flush everything out of your body. And he would say, don't drink Gatorade because Gatorade's full of sugar. So take these electrolyte tabs, and it's great that you're drinking. You know, OSHA mandates that you have 2 gallons of cool, fresh drinking water per person per 8-hour shift. Could you imagine drinking 2 gallons of water in 8 hours? Like, that's a tall task. If you do
that's water poisoning. You could die from that.
It's called water intoxication.
Yeah, you could die from that.
But he would come out and be like, I'm so happy you're drinking all this water. Here, take an electrolyte tab.
Have you heard of LMNTs? No. It's called LMNT. So
I love them.
It's sodium.
It's LMNT. It's not like element.
Yeah.
And it's LMNTs taste like Gatorade. Remember the old school Gatorade that was kind of salty?
Back in the day, the yellow ones when all they had was yellow.
It's like it essentially is Gatorade without the sugars and stuff. But it's a little packet you add, but it's like 1,000 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah. So I started adding it to, I think, 1 liter at a time. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of sodium.
It's like drinking out of the ocean at first.
But it, for me, and you can look it up and you can see, and you can tell me if it's good or not. But LMNTs are an easy way to put down some water, because I personally, don't really care for the taste of water. Yeah.
The lack thereof.
The lack thereof, yeah. So it's hard for me to drink water. But I do like Mio or whatever. But those LMNTs, they are 1,000 milligrams of sodium. So they are hydration adjacent, I guess. But better for you than all the alternative things that you can put into your body, I guess. I don't know. You look them up. You let me know. You let me know if they're any good. We'll push them on this show. But
I drink one. I take one every day.
Every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, you know, when you're out walking and working and you need that in your life, you need that in your body. Because a lot of people just think like, oh, no, I'll just drink 3 Gatorades today. Like, that's not good for your body.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
How does somebody get a hold of you? I mean,
they can email me legacy3m@gmail.com, or they can follow me on Instagram, Legacy Soul.
And you follow Shattered Wisdom Podcast?
Yes.
Okay, so they can follow you through our thing if they need to look for you?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Easy day. Are we fucking giving this one a salt pill or what?
Let's salt
are we
this one.
Are we gonna naturally remedize this one?
Yeah. We'll close this one out.
All right. You ready for this?
Wait, any last minute stuff that you want to...
Yeah, what do you want to put out?
Yeah, is there anything else that you want to say or tell that, like, yeah.
So I work at in Fontana at the New Mind, New Body gym. So
you drive all the way to goddamn Fontana?
An hour, yeah. But it's worth it, you know? Like, I'm allowed to do anything there. Like,
perfect.
What I offer, like, it's been a blessing. So
okay.
If anybody wants to look me up or work with me, I'm going to be there.
So she's in Fontana. So that is not far from us. I mean, that's if you're in California, I'm biased. but if you want to be healthy and you want to get your life on track, which I do because I'm looking at your husband right now and he looks great. I'm so happy for you.
Joe looks
fucking amazing. Good. I want that in my life. Like, I want that to be my answer. Yeah, hey, buddy.
Yeah, what's up? Joe's like, let's go. Let's go pig hunting again. I'll show you what's up, Big Daddy.
But my thing, like, I really have to like lock my shit down and focus. And whatever you did, bro, worked. And I need to get on board with that because I need to be healthy. I have a family. My dad died at 68.
68?
68. Yeah, he just would have just turned 69, and it's not enough time. So I need to get my life together and try to figure my shit out so I can be here for my family. But I need to know the right way to do things, because I just try to figure I'll go on a crash diet and I'll lose 100 pounds and I'll put it back on 200, and that's what people do, and that's not good for you.
But we need coaching. We need professionals like Emmy.
Yeah, people who know what
that
they're
understand
talking about.
that.
Yeah.
And like my advice to you, you want to change your lifestyle. If you keep living the way your parents live, you're going to pass it down to your kids. And
Right.
You're going to create the same illness and disease in your family.
Well, this little motherfucker, I was sitting down at breakfast the other day. He looked at me and looked at himself. He looked at me again. He goes, I need to do more sit-ups. I was like, you little son of a bitch.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, good for you though. Like I tell my son all the time, you don't want to be me, you want to be better than me. But
you need to set the example.
100%.
They follow what they see.
I'm good at telling you what to do and not doing it. Do what I say, not what I do.
I like her. She's a much more gentle, tinier Chris Fowler.
Yeah, you give it to me how it is. All right, so what do we'll start. We'll get with you because
we could keep going.
I might not be somebody that you would take on, but
she's like, there's a lot of work to do.
She's
there,
like,
big fella.
big boy, I don't know what you're talking about. All right,
I'm up for the challenge.
Like, can you imagine though? Like, I could be like he is and he fucking is gonna be like, no, this.
He isn't Joel.
But he is the best representation of what you do because he lost 100 pounds. He looks amazing. He looks healthy. He doesn't look all sucked up and fucking skinny and like he just went on a crash diet. It looks like he did it the right way, where it's not going to just come back.
But I'll say this too, is that Joel's personality and his outward appearance is the same as when he started. He is just more like confident and like well spoken and I would very much say this, like the way that even he presents himself and sitting here and talking with you from when we went hunting the last time to where you are now, you not only the physical appearance, but like your aura, I guess you'd call it like your aura, but how you present yourself is very different.
Yeah, no, and
your confidence is like
I know that
through
she
the
did
fucking
this
roof.
to you. I know that she did this for you and to you. Let me get some. Hook a brother up.
No, but you do look you look very
good.
different.
Like you look,
It's-
bro. When you got out of the car, I
best
was like, "Who the fuck?" I told you to bring your husband, not your boyfriend. But no, you look good, man. I'm fucking proud of you, man. I'm happy for you.
Dude, kudos to Emmy for
100%.
And like once you change, your family is gonna change too. It just ripples.
Okay, all right. Well, we will send all of our people to you.
the quiet confidence is very
You ready?
Very good.
Are we going to bed? I'm putting this one to bed.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna go get our 8 hours. We're gonna start there.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you for having me. on.
No, absolutely. Thank you
Like,
for
I
coming.
appreciate it, and I'm
No.
honored.
100%.
No, thank you for coming.
Thank you for
And you people that don't know Emmy, I asked JJ, I'm like, she's so quiet.
Yeah,
Is she
she's
gonna
so
actually
quiet.
talk? So it's so awesome that you're out of your shell here with us. We're
Yeah.
happy that you're doing that for us.
It's because we're all locked in a fucking room.
No, that was
like, I'll be myself,
you
I
better
guess."
talk.
They
Yeah.
tied me down.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Joel's tied up in the corner.
Joel,
He's just
yeah.
nodding in agreement.
He's like, "Can you let me out, please?" No, we got him gagged. Shut up, bitch.
Emmy, tell him whatever you want. Just get me out of here.
Can we leave? This is a terrible idea.
Oh Lord.
Oh
have mercy.
man. So hey, so the premise of our show also is check in on your friends.
Yes.
Make sure that all of your people are right. Jack got a call today from one of his people,
Yeah.
and he's not doing the best. We'll see. I'm not gonna get into his thing because I don't. It's not my thing to get into. But
Yeah.
he called Jack. He said, "Hey, you always check in on me, man. I appreciate you. I just want to be in your prayers." That goes a long way.
Yeah.
When people think of you as the person who checks in on them, and they call you to tell you, like, hey, this is my thing, and this is what I've got going on. It's a big fucking deal. It's not that he was like, oh, like, I need to tell all my friends what's wrong with me. No, he was like, hey, man, you check in on me. I want to let you know how I'm doing.
Yeah.
So check in on your friends. Be good people.
Yep.
Send us questions. Mm-hmm. Let us know you listen. I've been Jarrett.
I've been Jack.
Emmy.
And this is Shattered Wisdom Podcast. And you motherfuckers are welcome.